Wait a second.
Like, the people?
I know there were probably people watching him, but in the broadcast, those were not real people, were they?
They were moving.
They were all too cookie cutter.
I know, but they were moving. But, like, I spent an extraordinary amount of time watching those people in particular, because I couldn't tell. But what I gathered from it was they were real, and they were there.
Interesting, okay.
If they weren't, that's weird.
I enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed the technical description on things. Sometimes...
Oh, I loved it.
Oftentimes, like a big, elaborate type of show isn't needed.
Mm-hmm.
Or it gets old too quickly. Where it's a bunch of jump cuts to different games that you can barely process in a given time. So, I enjoyed the slower paced, like, monotone Cerny talk that he gave.
Right. Well, and you could tell it was made for GDC.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that was not for mass consumption.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was a really interesting deep dive, and like, I learned things that I never even thought about with games, which is cool.
Yes. So, what was your biggest takeaway from it?
That on paper the PlayStation 5 is not going to look as powerful, but it is going to be. And I think that's what they were trying to get out in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. What about you?
No, I agree. I think it's going to be more feature rich, and they're gonna talk of that as opposed to just sheer power numbers this gen.
Mm-hmm.
That could prove to bite them in the butt because they were kind of all about the power talk this current gen.
Right.
That might throw some people off. Because Microsoft has kind of been all about that power talk for the Series X.
Yeah, Microsoft has been big on the buzzwords.
Yeah.
Series X.
And overall, Microsoft has been bigger on just talking up this generation compared to Sony. Because up until this Mark Cerny talk, it was kind of like we knew the 5 was happening, and we knew it was coming end of 2020, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, nothing else.
So, and then we got a showing of the controller. But
so what do you think of the controller?
You know, I'm okay with the controller. Like, I think it's the next evolution in the DualShock design.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really like the 4's layout. It feels good in my hands. It's got some nice weight. I've always been more for the curved nature of the 4 compared to the Xbox One controller. But it looks like they're definitely taking some design ideas from Microsoft's side.
It does. But then, like, when they showed the view from the back of it, like, laying on the table, the back profile looked exactly like a DualShock 4.
Yeah, it looked like the DualShock 4, and it kind of had some, I was getting some vibe from, like, those third-party, like, scuff controllers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't have any glaring objections to it. It's one of those things where we really don't know until we hold it in our hands.
And I want to see what it does. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, this seems, again, very feature-based, so I want to see that rather than just hear about it.
Right. Yeah, there's been talk about, like, fingerprint sensors, stuff like that.
The sweat detector.
Yeah, I don't want it to be gimmicky. I want it to make sense I don't want it to be another touchpad thing where it has this potential and 3 games at launch use it, and Ubisoft uses it throughout the lifespan, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the only ones that would.
But yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on it when it does finally come out. But back to the system, the hard drive technology is going to be interesting. I wonder how much that's going to be the focus for them compared to the power difference, or how much that's going to kind of put them on even playing fields.
Yeah, because it seems like that's the thing that's doing most of the compensating for the power.
Yeah. I don't think, in all honesty, games are going to look too different between the two. At least the third-party games that come out on both.
Right.
There might be some added effects on the Xbox One, but who knows? That might not even be the case with the hard drive technology that Sony's like propping up on their end.
I think it also depends on the developer.
Right.
I mean, because look at what Naughty Dog can do with hardware.
Right. And just the way the system's built. So we'll see how developers take advantage of that power difference and whatnot. I'm excited. I'm more interested in how this pandemic is going to affect the launch of anything this year.
Games or system?
System, mainly. I think we're used to gaming delays. Very rarely do we get hardware delays, at least in the console space. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and the one report I just saw was that the Xbox Series X is already in full production.
Okay.
So, you know, whatever they're doing seems to be working. I'm sure the PlayStation is also.
Right.
What do you think of the third party? What was it? Oh, the third party inside Xbox this week.
You know, that could have gone a lot better.
So what was the biggest issue with it?
I think the biggest issue with it, and I think a lot of other people agree, is don't call this like gameplay reveals and not show majority of gameplay.
Or like any.
Right, I think the first game that they showed had maybe gameplay, the Bright Memory Infinite in Dirt 5,
right.
But Dirt 5 like is a racing game, so any sort of showing of that game, you know what it's going to be. But everything else. No, go ahead.
No, finish. I was just gonna say, I also don't think it counts that like if it's gameplay, but you are recording it from like different vantage points, but technically it's still gameplay. That doesn't count.
Right.
Which is, I think, what Assassin's Creed did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. It's exciting, but it's disappointing at the same time to see. Like, I give them props for being able to do this during this weird time and doing it from home and like showing off their new system. It's just you worded it poorly, and I think it was hyped more than it actually should have been.
Yeah, you set wrong expectations.
Yes.
It's also really unfortunate that that was our introduction to next-gen games.
Right, and
like overall. Not even just Xbox, overall.
And if we're being honest, I wasn't really feeling it being next-gen for a lot of that stuff.
Right.
there's nothing standing out that would be like, wow, that's something that we couldn't see now. That wasn't a Spider-Man loading in less than a second. Like, that type of thing is something that doesn't happen today.
Yeah, the side-by-side?
Right.
Yeah.
If you showed off a game that was doing things that we have not seen at all, then they would have had my full attention. But this was kind of just like... This was a Nintendo Direct for Microsoft, and it didn't go very well.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting titles, like cool things that look interesting to play, but if you would have told me this was just a release on the PS4 and Xbox One, I would have believed you. So, not terrible, but a letdown for sure.
Yeah, especially interesting considering we're not even getting the first-party Xbox presentation until July.
Yeah, I saw that. It would have been nice to see maybe one thing, first party in this, maybe to make up for everything else.
Or maybe at least Halo, because we all know what's coming out.
Right. If that's the thing you're going to be leaning on, like, for fuck's sake, show something.
Right.
Like, you have to have something at this point that you could show for that game. If you don't, there's a problem.
Right.
Like, if you aren't close to being done in that game, then there's something to be worried about.
Yeah, July just seems very, very close to launch date for any of your first-party titles to be showing them off for the first time.
Yes.
Unless everything got pushed back because of the pandemic. Then that's a totally different story.
Yeah, people are working from home and dealing with that type of situation, but couple little trailer or something, little teaser or something for that. With Master Chief running down a hallway or something. That'll get people's panties in a bunch.
So, at this point, though, yeah, all the questions are on PlayStation. I want to know specifics. I want to know if they're going to do the whole buy it on PS4, get it on PS5 thing.
Right.
I just want to know everything about it.
What's going to be their stance on Game Pass? Are they doing an equivalent to it? We know PS4 games are going to be backwards compatible. Is it going to be...
How many? Like, that debacle on might only be 100 was weird.
Yeah, I think they clarified that shortly after that Mark Cerny video. I forget what they said specifically.
They made it sound like it'll be backwards compatible with most PS4 games, but they were talking about the top 100 being boosted for PS5.
That's right. That's okay. Yeah, that's what they said.
Which is also weird because, like, Xbox just automatically boosts them. I don't know. This whole backwards compatibility thing, Sony's never really just seemed to have a handle on.
Right, and Microsoft has had that technology built in a while ago when they were doing backwards compatibility, so they kind of have that in their pocket to begin with. So I'm not surprised there. But yeah, it's the PS3 architecture screwed them in the long run.
Right. I'm curious if they're gonna pull that out and say that it's there on the new console.
Yeah. That'd be a big boost for them if they could get 1 through 4 working on the 5 in some fashion.
Get the whole family going.
Right. Yeah, we just need more information from them. I know. We're gonna have the usual early gen, like buy it on one console, get it on the other. Through EA, they do that every new generation. Ubisoft
time limited though.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I wonder how many companies are gonna do that. We know the usual EA and Ubisoft will.
Right.
Oh shit. Son of a bitch. Shot me right in the tummy. I'm just craving more news on this thing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with everything. Especially because it's just slow in general right now.
Right.
All the info.
Yeah, we're also in a state of just wanting some normality, so time is slowing down, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wanting something new on my palette.
Right. And we're also, like, I'm at a point where I'm like, the stuff that I know is coming out, I'm looking so forward to, because there's nothing else. And like, when The Last of Us delay happened, it was crushing.
Mm-hmm. I was fully expecting a much longer delay than what we got, which I guess we can jump into Last of Us information now.
Mm-hmm.
So, initially slated for May,
that version of the story leaves out a few unfortunate
Last of Us 2 got delayed due to the COVID-19 situation we're all in.
Gunshot wounds.
For those future listeners, we're in a pandemic right now. Unprecedented. Well, I guess not unprecedented, but it's just another check mark on our generation's dealing with shit that
no one else did.
No one else had to. Which will ultimately be blamed on us, but whatever.
Unless there's no future listeners, because this took down society.
If this is your last piece of media to listen to, we appreciate your patronage. So yeah, delayed due to the pandemic. The release date was up in the air. Same thing with Iron Man VR, which still no date for. Now that I think about it. And then, come to find out, June 19th is the official date for...
Which is what, 3 weeks after?
Yeah. So,
I think the interesting thing here is when it got delayed, the understanding is the game was done. Right?
Yes, or it was as close as possible.
It was distribution is why it was delayed.
You cut out there for a second.
Right. Distribution was the reason for the delay.
Yes, yeah, because they couldn't guarantee manufacturing of it.
Right. But 3 weeks is still not as long as you would think. So, the hack. Do you want to talk about the hack?
Yeah. So initial rumors were that it was a disgruntled employee putting this information out. And it was based around some sort of pay issue and not getting paid for work. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
So that was the running rumor at the time. Come to find out, some hackers...
some assholes.
More specifically, yes. Backdoored their way in through some Naughty Dog servers and got Last of Us 2 information. I think it was actually through Last of Us 1 servers, through like a patch.
Yeah, all I heard was that it was an old Naughty Dog game. I didn't hear which one. It was a patch for an old game.
Yeah. And I haven't looked too much into it because that is a dangerous game to play.
Yes, it is.
I don't know how much was leaked. Do you know the extent?
I don't know the full extent. It seemed sizable. And it also appeared to be very crucial parts of the game that were very heavily spoiler based.
Gotcha.
But I've tried to stay as far away from it as possible.
Yeah, at this point I haven't seen anything other than officially released trailers, so I plan on keeping it that way. If anyone ruins it for me, I will go to jail, because they will be murdered.
Right. Yeah, now is a very tough time, this last month leading up to the game. Especially being on the internet. Try to stay away from it.
Even if
last I saw, the Last of Us subreddit was in lockdown. Indefinitely.
Good. Even the comments and whatnot are disabled on that latest story trailer, which makes sense.
But I would stay away from comment sections on any other video or live chat threads on YouTube, because people are assholes.
Yeah, just be careful on anything gaming related. If you're looking forward to Last of Us information.
But with regards to the leak and the delay, do you think the leak pushed Sony to try and move and find a solution faster?
You know, I thought about that. I'm like, if this hack didn't happen, how much longer out we'd be waiting for it.
Right.
Because Ghost of Tsushima was slated for June.
Right.
And now that Last of Us is taking that slot, that's been moved to July. Which, good for them, because that gives them more time to do whatever they need to do. But, yeah, that's a weird one. I feel like they probably would have waited longer to get it out. I just hope them releasing it in June didn't compromise anything.
What do you mean? Like quality-wise?
Quality-wise, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a day one patch or two. There always is. But I wonder how much of that would have been already in the game. Because we also don't know what the slated date was if there wasn't a hack. Like if it was another month or two, how much they could have added or tweaked in that time. So it's kind of a catch-22. Like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. So, but yeah, I do feel like that leak kind of forced their hand, and like we need to get this out as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, because the information's out there.
Yeah, the longer they wait, the longer that information circulates, and the less sales they have for it.
Well, and, you know, it also seemed that when the leak went out and the information went out, it wasn't even a positive response on the information. The response on the information that went out was extraordinarily negative. So they also probably wanted to try and damage control on that and say, let's just get the game out there and let them experience it. Because the conversations are not good.
Right. Which, that's a tough thing to talk about as well, because you either look at the leaks and spoil it for yourself, or you just wait to see for yourself when the game comes out.
Yeah. Well, and it's also one of those things where I'm also so tired of that internet mob mentality on, you know, how they feel about stuff. That the fact that the internet doesn't like it makes me feel like, okay, I'm probably gonna love it.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's the hate for Naughty Dog for being too politically correct and them doing certain things for shock value and whatnot. So
which seems to be 90% of what the hate is right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's the general gist I'm getting. That I wish it was out so I could know specifically what these people are complaining about. I'm anticipating some sort of very shocking tonal shift in part 2, which gets me excited because I like that type of stuff in games. I like breaking the formula a lot. Not a lot of companies do it. Not because they're not capable, but publishers are financially scared to do that type of stuff. It's easier to put stuff out that's guaranteed to bring in money and be safe, a la Call of Duty, Gears of War.
The AAA blockbuster formula.
Yeah, the Assassin's Creeds and the FIFAs and the Maddens, the thing they know will sell every time. So when a company does put something out that's like, wow, okay, that's different, or narratively that touches some places that we don't see very often, I'm totally for. So I'm hoping that's where a lot of this shock is coming from. Even with the first Last of Us, people were very divided on the ending, at least. I know a lot of people talked about the gameplay being nothing special, which, in retrospect, it's not the most unique gameplay. It's kind of it's a less vertical Uncharted, but
Exactly.
That didn't take away from the storytelling, the emotional beats that it hit. So, and it's unfortunate to know that there is some sort of I don't want to say twist, but there's something that happens in the story that's getting people all riled up, because that would have been nice to have found out completely on the whim.
Right, and I'm sure it's still gonna hit. If we don't know, it's probably still gonna hit.
Yeah.
It also, I mean, at least from the trailers, this is such a different game regardless, just because of the mood and the feel of the game. I mean, it looks very dark.
Oh yeah, this one
just replayed through the original. It's not like it. There are moments that are like that, but overall, that's not the tone of the game.
Yeah, especially with them saying this one's focus is revenge. It'll be interesting to see how dark they take it, because even those initial trailers were very, very brutal. I'm excited. Last of Us is one of my favorite. Hell, I got a tattoo on my arm, and I plan on adding more Naughty Dog stuff to that arm. So to say I'm a fan is no understatement. I'm fully prepared to cry.
Oh, yeah, multiple times probably.
I want it right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm glad that I still have the DLC to play through. I never played the DLC for.
Oh my god, you are in for something.
That's what I hear.
I would almost want to watch you play through that, like we did with Resident Evil.
Yeah, and well, it's short also, isn't it?
Yeah, you can probably finish it in a couple hours.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm excited to go through that. But, yeah.
So that's been the controversy around that. I'm surprised that we've done so well to not get spoiled by it. We just have a couple more weeks to hopefully endure that suffering.
It's a lot of just stay away from obvious sources, really.
Right.
Oh, real quick, also, going back to the Xbox thing. Can we talk about the worst moment of that stream? The Madden reveal.
I didn't watch the stream, so I don't know specifically what you're referring to. So I am interested in.
Their reveal trailer for Madden was like a bunch of retro clips on, like, you know, from the beginning, like small beginnings kind of thing. And then at the end, maybe 7 seconds of footage from Madden 21. And that was it. And it was a setup for EA Play probably in June.
Great.
But it was terrible. And it looked just like the current game.
I guess I really, having been in GameStop for so long and seeing that game come out every year, I don't know what to expect in terms of a next-gen Madden anymore. Like, textures and stuff are going to look better, but are you surprised that it doesn't look that different?
A little bit. Because I feel like Madden, every time there's been a next-gen Madden, there's been a leap.
Okay.
But I don't know. Again, we are in a console where there's going to be diminishing returns.
Yes.
So I don't know. A lot of it, I think, comes down to just flat-out gameplay.
Okay.
Which you can't tell from a video. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I did expect a little bit more, though.
Not being a sports player, it kind of just unfortunately rolls off my shoulder. Not to diminish your excitement for Madden, because I know that's something that you like to play and whatnot, but I feel like unlike any other game that comes out, the sports games have an even lower amount of innovation that they can do each year, just because they do come out at that frequency that unless they wait that 2-year life cycle, or that 2-year development cycle, you're not really going to see too much innovation, at least huge leaps. Like they usually do some mechanics each year, but I don't think you're going to see too much.
Yeah, well, it's also the same kind of thing that Call of Duty runs into, is that you can't implement feedback from one game until 2 games later.
Right. You have an A and a B team, and
yeah, in Call of Duty you have a C team.
Yeah, so, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Oh no, you go ahead.
Nah, anything else, like, news-wise?
I was gonna say, is there anything else about that Xbox video that piqued any interest?
Not really. Not at all. I mean, I was excited to see more from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
But we literally saw no more than we saw in the trailer. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it now.
On the topic of Valhalla, I will 100% admit that I was not excited for another Assassin's Creed, because I think that speaks for itself. But they recently said that it's not their biggest Assassin's Creed, nor is it their longest.
Yeah.
And
because of feedback.
That has me interested, as fickle as that is. Odyssey was way too fucking big for me.
Yeah, Origin and Odyssey. I haven't played Odyssey. I've played Origin, but Origin is just incredibly overwhelming. And I've heard Odyssey's the same way.
See, I platinumed Origin.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fucking game. It's even worse because I'm a trophy guy, so you have to visit every question mark on the map for that one. Whereas Odyssey, you don't have to do that, but you do have to at least set foot in every part of the map. You don't have to visit a specific spot, but you just have to visit every named like chunk of land. And even then, that game is ginormous. So that is a feat in and of. And I just couldn't do it. I haven't picked it up since I think the first month that it launched. I would have enjoyed probably platinuming Odyssey more than Origins, even though I do like the Egypt aesthetic. And having played God of War, the most recent one, the Viking look and feel is on my palate still, so that is intriguing me. But to know that it's not their biggest creed nor their longest has me more interested than I was before.
Now, what do you think is your target size or length that you're hoping that it is?
See, that's tough because I would like an Assassin's Creed that's not longer than 20 hours, and I know it's going to be more than 20 hours.
So kind of going back to 2 and 3.
I would like
series used to.
that. I think I enjoyed Assassin's Creed the most when it was in London. I forget the name of what's that? What was the London one?
Syndicate.
I enjoyed Syndicate quite a bit. Like I think that was the right size. That was the right length.
Also had a really good main character.
Yeah, the brother and sister, they played off each other well. Like it.
Yeah. I meant Evie, just because I didn't care for the brother, but.
Oh, I didn't play as a brother either, and I played the female in Odyssey as well. So.
Is that Cassandra?
Yes. Shit, I'm out of bullets. But yeah, I would like it to be more in that vein. I know it's not because we're past that time. I'm going to fucking die. Sorry, folks. I'm getting my John Wick ass shot the fuck up. I'm gonna die. Shit tits. Yeah, I died. Yeah, that's it in terms of the Microsoft thing.
Cool. Shit, I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Pardon my drinking. I'm parched. So I had The Last of Us on my list. I had the Microsoft announcement. I had what we've been playing. Anything big come up outside of that?
Oh, did you hear about Jason Schreier?
He left Kotaku?
Yep. He's going to Bloomberg.
That's an interesting move.
It's a very interesting move.
I mean, he has the reporting chops to kind of go wherever the fuck he wants. So, any type of those moves, it's kind of like shocking because we just get so used to being in the same spot for so long that we kind of forget that they're human beings. So,
I mean, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing now, I'm excited.
Right, and it wasn't a situation where something leaked about something he did, or he got fired for doing something shady or something like that. So it was more of a just moving on. I mean, good for him. Hopefully he's doing what he enjoys doing, and he still gets those unique stories out and the scoops that he finds and digs up, so.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. This supposed Mario Anniversary Collection.
Oh, the Galaxy and...
64.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
It makes sense. The Switch is selling left and right, and why not put some of your best games on there?
Right.
Which games was it? Was it Super Mario 64, Galaxy? Was it both Galaxies?
I think it was one of them. I thought it was Galaxy 2.
That would make sense. Okay. Was it Sunshine as well?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. If I can spell it.
That's half the battle.
Right? Alright, Polygon. This reportedly re-released most of Super Mario's 35-year back catalog.
In all honesty, Sunshine is the one I'm most excited for.
I don't think I've played Sunshine.
Sunshine is a beautiful gem in the rough. Everyone will give you shit for liking it if you do, but I don't give a shit, because Sunshine was the Mario game that we all needed, but no one respects.
That was the one with the jetpack, right?
That was with the big water mechanics, because the
Yes.
GameCube was so good with water tech for whatever fucking reason. I guess their system was codenamed Dolphin, so I'm not surprised.
Super Mario 3D World will be included, supposedly. Sunshine.
I'd be excited
64.
for 3D World as well, because that's one I didn't play.
I like that one a lot. Super Mario 64 Sunshine. This is Galaxy 1.
Okay. We're in trouble, boys. We're in trouble.
I think it would be a day one buy for me.
Oh, just for the sheer amount of games you're getting, for sure.
Right.
I wonder what they would charge it. Would they charge 60?
I think if you offer enough games, you can absolutely charge 60. And especially because this says that they are anniversary editions and not straight ports.
Right, yeah. That 60 wasn't are they going to charge that much? I feel like 60 is a good price for all of those games. I was just wondering if they would go higher than that.
Oh. Can't imagine they would go higher.
No, 60 would be like a good price for those games in terms of their age.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's Nintendo. They hold their value.
They're also very bad at putting first-party games on sale. So
Well, I mean, but that's again, you can look at it two ways. They don't put them on sale, or they hold their value. Artificially.
I don't want to spend $60 for Breath of the Wild at this point. The fact that
$200 for Ocarina of Time.
I wouldn't pay that much because I don't get on my knees for those games. But
Preach.
I do, and people don't like it. So
I still never finished Breath of the Wild.
It's good. Not the best. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's a good Zelda game.
Yeah, I think eventually I'm just gonna have to admit that I'm just not a Zelda guy.
And that is totally okay.
Yeah. I tried so many times I've never finished a single one, so at a certain point I just have to say it. I don't know anything else though.
Let's see. I'd say, have you seen any good movies lately? But no one's been to any theaters.
Right?
I mean, I guess
Yes,
AMC, that whole controversy.
What do you mean?
Them refusing, didn't they refuse to show Universal movies?
Oh, them and a couple other chains all banded together.
Oh, did they? I just saw the AMC. I wasn't sure about other places.
Yeah, I think they were the biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah. But I watched that movie, what's it called? Good Boys.
What is that one?
That is, imagine a Seth Rogen movie, but with 6th graders.
Okay, yeah. I remember trailers for that.
Yes. And that was fantastic. Yeah, definitely a big fan of that one.
Good.
That's it, though.
Have I seen any fresh things? I want to see Bloodshot. I just haven't got a chance to figure out what I need to do to see it.
Which one is that?
That's that Vin Diesel one where he's got like nanobots and it's very red. He's like a superhero and can't die or whatever. That's a very piss poor description of that movie, but
Sounds like a Vin Diesel movie, though.
I mean, it's Vin Diesel, and I'm a big Riddick fan, so if it gives me Riddick vibes, I'm down. I think there hasn't been too much unless we really dig.
I mean, it's been a while, but like, did you watch The Mandalorian?
I did watch The Mandalorian, yeah.
What did you think of that?
I think if you're going to do a Star Wars TV series, I think that's the best route you could have gone. And
yeah.
That sounds more negative than I meant it to be, but it would be hard to pull off a grounded Star Wars series like that, dealing with any other type of character.
Now, okay, I guess that can take us to Kenobi then. What is your interest level in Kenobi?
My interest in Kenobi is higher than Mandalorian just because Ewan's going to be in it.
Well, Osborn was outraged
and
at intrusion. Break into his
I guess I know more about Obi-Wan than I do
the uncaged bear.
The Mandalorians. So
Osborn's tough.
I'll probably be more hyped to see the Obi-Wan series, but I don't know. I guess no one really knows anything more than that, do they?
Sure.
Do we know like when it's taking place?
Not specifically. Just we know it's between 3 and 4. That's a long period of time.
Yeah.
And there's already a lot covering that time period too lately.
You know what we really need? We need a rated R Vader movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it out there. We need a rated R Vader movie. We need a 90 to 120 minute version of the end of Rogue One.
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Have him. There's so many stories they could pull. I know they have the comic series that they're working. I don't know if they finished it, but I know
They're on like their third version of it. Yeah.
I've read some of those, and some of those are amazing. You could pull from that. Just something with him just tearing people's asses open.
Right. Like set it right after he becomes Vader.
Just
his most rage filled.
Oh boy.
Figured himself out. Just go for it.
Yeah, and you could even throw some emotion in there, like the Padme and him dealing with that still, and like him secretly trying to figure out what he can do on the side. That could be so fucking good.
Yes. I don't think they'll ever do it.
That's the unfortunate part, is like, I don't think they'd ever do it, and I'm trying to think of who could helm that and have it be. I don't know who could direct that and make it what we're imagining.
I think the Mandalorian guys could.
Jon Favreau?
Yeah. And yeah, Jon Favreau. And wait, who else was it? It wasn't just him, was it?
I know there were some other directors, but I think he was the main.
He was the showrunner.
Yeah.
Created by Jon Favreau. Oh, that's it. Dave Filoni.
Okay, yeah.
The Clone Wars guy.
That's a series I haven't ever got into that I need to.
Same. I want to watch it because apparently the last season was incredible, but I've never been able to like get started into it. I did watch all of Rebels though.
Okay, I haven't even did that.
That was wonderful. I think it was the same guy. I think those two could honestly be Kevin Feige for Star Wars.
Yeah. Man, that'd be so fucking rad.
Yeah.
Just, we saw so little of Vader doing, or we saw so much little of his potential.
Mm-hmm. In a certain way, though, it's kind of the magic of it. Is that when we do get it, though, it's incredible. And it's like, it's this big moment, because it's not overused.
Yeah.
But I agree, I would be there, though, opening night for a movie like that.
Vader has this legendary status of just being that monster, and just by context, everyone's scared of him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really drill down, it's like we don't really see where that fear came from. Like, yeah, he chokes people, and you see him saber fight, and we have the Rogue One now, which is probably the most we've seen of Vader actually fighting in a battle, as opposed to a duel, which you don't have to be, I guess, active in, per se.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fencing, like you can be super old and still fence very, very well.
But we've never seen him eviscerate people.
Yeah, we've never seen him... Rogue One was the first time we saw him taking on a group of people by himself. And there's a lot of cool fan videos out there that are like, this is something that could go somewhere. Disney just isn't doing it.
Yeah. One of the many, many weird choices Disney's made.
God, I just can't stop thinking about with how well some of those fights in the latest saga were.
Mm-hmm.
What they could do with
throne room scene in The Last Jedi.
Oh, for sure. Like dancing, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan Johnson is the worst. So I hate people.
So, because I can't remember, because it's every time runs together.
Yeah.
Did we have an episode after Rise of Skywalker came out?
No. We
Okay.
did not. Because when did Rise of Skywalker come out?
Like the end of December.
No, because we had our last episode before that.
Okay. So rewatching it this past week has brought up the underlying feelings of the end of this movie for me. The Rise.
Okay.
The Jedi scene at the end when she's like on her back, like trying to like call the Jedi.
I wish.
It still infuriates me.
Okay, I think we need to unravel this. Why still infuriates me? What is the initial infuriation? Is that even a word? Infuriation. What
It is now.
Yeah, I guess so. Sounded right.
Irritation? No.
What made you angry about it?
That they're not there.
Okay.
That it is not a Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 moment. And that, you know, she's in this room surrounded by thousands of Sith from the past. Like, all there, and the best she gets is a, like, push in on the stars with the voices of everyone else sending her words of encouragement. And it's not this moment where she gets to, like, stand up and she's surrounded by the Force, like, ghosts of the Jedi before her.
Okay. Didn't they say that they had plans on having more to that scene?
So, okay, so I guess that's the bigger issue here that I don't know if we'll ever know.
Okay.
Where did you ever read that post of the supposed whistleblower for the movie? Post-release.
Was it like a long Reddit thread?
Very long Reddit thread.
I think I did see that.
That he was basically just blowing the lid on everything that went wrong with it. And it all pretty much boiled down to JJ locked an edit of the movie. And, like, the day that he went on Good Morning America and said, yeah, we locked it last night kind of thing, was, like, true. Like, he wanted to lock it by Thanksgiving. Things kept going wrong. He didn't get to lock it until, like, 2 weeks before the premiere. He locked it, and when they showed up at the premiere, JJ went ballistic afterwards because the movie they showed was not what he locked 2 weeks before.
Damn. Okay.
Yes. Which I don't think we'll ever know if that was true. There's a lot of things in that thread that speak as though it is a true thread. It's the first Star Wars movie where the soundtrack doesn't match the movie.
Okay.
there's flat out moments that never happen in the movie. There's weird cuts there. It's odd how things like that played out. Supposedly they did shoot the Harry Potter style scene, but they didn't use it for some reason.
Right.
That they had been pushing for the whole Finn and Poe thing to be an actual relationship, and Disney higher-ups put the nix on that. Weird cuts, like the Lando scene at the end with Jannah was a longer scene that didn't make it seem like he was hitting on her, but actually explaining that like she's his daughter.
Okay.
Which still watching that scene is a little creepy.
I watched it today, and he's like, "Let's find out." Like, okay.
Right.
Like
and
I know.
Apparently, go ahead.
I know like what he was alluding to, but it's like there's no context there to really know. Like, like if we're gonna have another series, like you two would go together. Like, duh. Like that's what he's alluding to. Like, let's go on an adventure. We'll find out.
Right.
But it's just like I'm gonna creepily turn your way as an old man and say this to you, and have you smirk like you want some of this Sky City dick, and I don't know.
Well, it doesn't help that everything that Billy D. Williams says is said in a sexy way.
Yeah, that's very true.
And apparently, like, the last scene with Rey and Kylo was a lot longer, and there was dialogue. And that didn't happen.
Yeah, that was kind of just weirdly silent for a lot of that scene. God forbid they kissed. How dare they kiss?
Right? Oh, and apparently Finn being force sensitive was actually played out at the end, but it got cut.
I think they touched on it more.
Yes. Like, it was actually said.
Yeah, because there are segments where like he's clearly sensing stuff, especially at the end when he knows Rey died. Spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen this movie yet.
It's been a while. Overall, like, I love the movie.
Yeah.
And it was a blast, and it's fun to watch. But should the post actually be true? And JJ's not the type of person to ever comment on it or, you know, let us know. He's a goddamn professional. But it just makes me a little sad because it could have been even better.
Right. Seeing those characters, like it's beautiful to hear all those voices, and it's very emotional. But having a little more context for who's saying what when would have been amazing. Like it's the shot of up the lightning stalk into the sky, like looks amazing. Like in the theater when we saw that, I was like, this is breathtaking. This is off topic, but every time the Emperor first shoots the Force lightning up and it makes that noise, like I always laugh because that's not the noise I expect for it to make.
Are you talking about like the earth-shattering rumble?
Yeah, that really like low pitch. Whoa.
Right.
It gets me every time.
Yeah,
But
that's wonderful.
I said it when we first saw it, and I'll say it again. When Ark of the Covenant disintegrates, I am in shock every time.
It's fucked up.
I know it's coming, and it still's like, "Ooh, boy, this is not something I expect in a Star Wars movie at all."
Yeah, watching it again this week, that's intense.
I'm surprised they got away with that, like, in all honesty.
Really?
Yes, like, I am very surprised that Disney was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, that's some Doom level, like, we haven't done that in a while. I don't know if we can subject kids to this, because I'm not one for dumbing things down for mass public, but because I thought that looked super fucking cool. I'm more so like, out of all the Star Wars movies, I don't think I've seen something like that take place. The most we've seen is someone get stabbed and or like a limb cut off. He straight up melts. He Wolverine from X-Men 3 gets like disintegrated.
Yeah.
Love it. Like, he deserves every bit of that, and I bet that hurt like a bitch.
Well, and I feel like it's consistent with all the choices of Palpatine in the movie, where from the very first moment you see him, it's fucked up.
He's
like,
gross.
His fingers, and like everything that you're looking at, it's like, if you were a little kid, Palpatine would be truly terrifying in this movie.
Yeah, his existence is pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his white eyes and his missing fingers, and just like being a fleshy GLaDOS from Portal, like. We live in a different age though, where kids can handle more of that stuff. So.
Well, good for them, because it gives us cool things like that.
We're living in a Trump world, so I have to learn one way or the other.
But yeah, a lot of it. I think the biggest, if people want to complain, I don't think any of the 3 movies on their own were bad movies. I don't think any of those people made a bad movie.
No.
I think you can argue that Disney didn't do a good job establishing what the trilogy was going to be. Maybe they went into it without a plan.
100%.
And you only get one shot at that, and you can't take it back now.
That's very true.
I think the fact that Episode 9 feels like a trilogy in one movie proves that. And yeah. I'm left wanting more of the cast because we got so little of them all together. But they were great movies, and I just hope that they're not done with those characters.
Right. Where does Star Wars go from here? Is my question. Like, yeah, we have the Clone Wars, we have Mandalorian Season 2, we have Obi-Wan. But in terms of like a 10 per se, a 10, 11, and 12, as you'd assume that if they're going to go for more numbered ones, they would do another trilogy. Like, what does a 10? Where do we go with a 10?
I still say you give it back to the Game of Thrones people.
I forgot that was a thing for a while.
Yeah, until Game of Thrones ended. Then it wasn't.
We thought this was going well.
Yeah, until they didn't have source material to work off of anymore.
That's a deeper discussion.
I just, again, I'm not somebody who's read the books. I probably won't, because I don't know. I just don't think I could read those books. Because I'm an asshole, my hope, truly my hope, is that the books are exactly like the show. And then the people who are mad because it's not what George R. R. Martin would have done are just devastated. But I don't know what Star Wars does from here. I mean, there seems to be a lot of trilogies in the works that are standalone. But as far as episodes, I don't know what you do.
And didn't recently, what's his name that made the latest Thor, say he's making a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, the Taika, I don't know how to say his name.
Taika Waititi or something like that?
Yes. He directed one of the Mandalorian episodes.
That's right. He did.
Yeah, he's doing a trilogy or a movie? I think it's a movie.
I think it's a movie.
Yeah. But that's what this seems, is like it's just gonna be a bunch of one-offs. Rian Johnson supposedly is still getting a trilogy.
Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
But no one knows what's going on with that. And, I mean, their new flagship show, Kenobi, is apparently going through rewrites of all the scripts. So, who knows what's going on? It's just in a very weird place.
Yeah. Did Daisy say that she's done with Star Wars?
No, I don't think she officially said it. But I don't want to get that wrong.
Right.
Let's see. Yes, she hasn't said. Well, maybe. Right now, I don't think so, but who could say, really, the opportunity might present itself. That's it. It's just weird when you think that they could have something the level of the Marvel Universe. And they don't.
Right. It'd be so easy. No, I don't want to say easy, but it makes too much sense that they could.
I think it just proves that you have to have the right person in charge. Like, you have somebody in charge of Marvel who seems to get it, to understand what makes Marvel Marvel, and just, no matter what, just runs their plan through. And Star Wars has just tried this, decision by committee thing. It's not working. Because Kathleen Kennedy sure isn't that person.
Yeah, I feel like she's been pretty silent lately, but I also haven't been following a lot of news just because, depression.
Right. Well, you can't even say that anything is her fault because you don't know.
Yeah. I've thought about going through the saga again, starting from 1 and just going.
Me too, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. One of the bonus features though is called the Skywalker Legacy. It's the making of Episode 9. but it
Okay.
basically is a also retrospective of the whole saga. It's wonderful. It's like 2 hours, but
Wow.
yeah, I highly recommend it. It's really well done.
Where the fuck did that guy come from?
But they are supposedly doing a 4K re-release of the Lord of the Rings saga. And that I'm very excited for because it's been many years since I've seen those movies.
Are they doing anything outside of the 4K? Like, are they adding another week and a half of runtime?
No, it would be the extended editions.
Where the fuck did all those guys come from?
But Rachel's never seen those movies, so that would be good.
Okay, yeah, that'd be. I'd say in that scenario, rewatching them is acceptable.
Yeah, but when I told her that watching the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings was about 12 hours, I don't think that helped the situation.
I mean, that's a big ask for, I think, any human being.
It's a lot of movie. It's good, but it's a lot of movie.
It's a lot of movies to take a ring up a volcano.
Yeah, and it's a lot of movie that, like, it's very active viewing, if you know what I mean. Like, it requires your attention,
Yeah,
and there's a lot going on in the world.
right.
Yeah, it's been a long time for those ones.
I don't know if I could sit through those again.
I think I can only because it's been probably more than 10 years since I've seen them. But it's not something that I could do, like, yearly.
No. No way.
I could probably do Star Wars every year. Not Lord of the Rings.
I'd agree with that.
I think that's it's all movie-wise, though. I don't know. It's like everything keeps getting delayed movie-wise too. That's not helping anything.
Yeah, movies and conventions are the number one things getting either.
And a bunch of shows are probably going to get pushed back. Like, I would be surprised if we got Mandalorian on time. We just finished The Handmaid's Tale, and they were making that season next season, and that'll probably get delayed.
Okay. I've been told to watch that.
It's infuriating. It's not really a good show to watch right now because it feels very much like the world we're going to, like before the pandemic, but like politically.
Gross.
So it hits a little close. Did you know they were on day one of filming the Uncharted movie when they shut it down for the pandemic?
That movie is never gonna get made.
I didn't realize that they had actually started production. I thought it was more rumor and hearsay.
That is unfortunate, but hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I love Tom Holland. Like, love him to death, but I don't know how I feel about him as Nathan Drake.
Yeah, he just looks too young, unless they're going with a young Drake.
Apparently it's the origin story. But that being said, I don't see how Mark Wahlberg is Sully. So, I don't know. The fact that, like, it also didn't have Naughty Dog's blessing does a lot.
Right.
And granted, most of those people are gone. It still is concerning.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want Wahlberg in another video game movie, considering Max Payne was so garbage.
Oh, you didn't like that, like, him holding the camera and spinning around in circles thing?
No,
The only thing from that movie I remember.
can't say that I did. There wasn't much about that movie that was redeeming anyway.
I have not heard of Max Payne in a very long time, though. Those are good games.
Very much so. So is Control, if you haven't played that.
I saw that it's on PS Now. Probably gonna give that a shot.
That game is stupendous.
Do you see Last of Us is getting a miniseries?
Oh yeah, that is a thing. That
like
one,
a legit thing with Neil Druckmann and like Gustavo and the team that made the game.
yeah, that one did have their blessing.
Right. I'm very excited for that.
And that one is actually telling the story too.
Of the original game?
Yes.
Oh. I don't know how I feel about that.
I believe that's what they said. Say, I'm taking that incorrectly, but I think it is generally following the story.
The hard part about that is like
We already
those
know it.
performances are so ingrained in my mind
Yeah,
that not having like, and you can't have Troy and Ashley do it because they don't look anything like these people.
yeah.
But yeah, that'll be weird. But I mean, if it's gonna be Joel and Ellie, anyways. I don't
Right.
know.
It's another one where it's like I gotta see who's cast as these people.
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch a couple months ago. I think I was playing my Switch, and Rachel was watching a show on TV. And I wasn't looking at the screen. And this one character was talking, and I just looked at the TV and I looked at Rachel. I'm like, "That's Ellie. That's Ashley Johnson."
Mm-hmm.
And went back to the character, and it was Ashley Johnson on screen. And I'm like, she's like, "Oh, really? That's who did Ellie?" I'm like, "Yep. I would know that voice anywhere."
Yeah, you hear it and you know.
Yes.
That's all I.
But yeah, I think probably it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of my the bulk of my discussion.
Yeah. I think so too. We're coming into a lot of information these next couple months.
Yeah, Xbox is gonna have some first-party stuff in July. I think there's rumor of Sony having some announcements here shortly as well.
Supposedly both are gonna have their hardware reveals in June. Is the rumor.
Okay.
So that would be exciting. I
Are
just
you
want to know about price.
Price is a big one. Are you still on the color of the system?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't... It's gonna be a big deal. But hopefully it's... I trust them to make the right choice.
Is the right choice what you want it to be?
The right choice is something tastefully done that works in anybody's home entertainment center. So if it is two-tone, but it's not something that like looks ridiculous, then I'm okay with it. But I mean, like, some of these mock-ups have me terrified.
Do you want them to continue with the traditional, like, flat rectangular box, or do you want them to go more of a Series X where it's a tower?
I'm okay with either one. I mean, the shape of it really doesn't bother me. Like, I probably never would have thought, like, the Series X would look like it does, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Like, I guess I don't really have an opinion on it specifically. Like, I just genuinely don't give a fuck. As long as it does what they advertise it to do, and it plays the games that I want to play, like, it could look like a fucking unicorn, where I put the discs in its ass. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're playing some crazy ass, like, Last of Us and whatever first party stuff, then I'm down. I wouldn't mind them changing it up where it's not this typical flat rectangular box. But that's part of me is like, they're just gonna do that. Like, it's gonna be that.
Yeah, I mean, we have no reason for them to not do that because that's what they've literally always done.
Right, it's their branding. I take it back. The shape of the box isn't their branding, but it's been very similar throughout the generations.
Yeah. I think color is just the biggest what if.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's one of those things where it hurts because there's so much in the scale of, like, what would be the first console for me to buy between Xbox and PlayStation. Almost all of the scales would tip towards PlayStation for me. And the biggest one being VR. But that color, I know it would bother the hell out of me.
Color doesn't affect me as much because I would most likely get rid of my current system for that, so it would just straight up replace what I have now.
And you don't have anything else.
Right, and I don't have like a big entertainment wall per se. So it would just kind of go on a shelf by my TV.
Right. Yeah, that or if, they come out and say it's going to be $700.
That would be a big factor as well.
Right. But I can't imagine them making that mistake again.
No, we're past the third console curse, so...
And the fact that they're willing to make sacrifices to, like, a hard drive to keep price affordable, I think they'll be right in line with Xbox and what everyone's expecting.
Yeah, that's going to be another factor. That's going to be an interesting thing to deal with. The different hard drives and which ones are certified and the type of issues that they're going to have to deal with when someone puts their own in there that might be certified but it's not working correctly, or that.
Which is where the benefit of Xbox having their own proprietary one comes as a benefit to them.
Yeah.
Although it'll probably be expensive.
Yeah, that route does have benefits, but also caveats. I wonder if Sony will make it easier to replace those hard drives. Because it's not hard now to change an internal hard drive, but it's definitely
especially
not.
on the Pro and Slim.
Yeah, it's not hard, but it's also not the most convenient thing to do. We have the external options now, but if you want to have that internal and not deal with external, it's doable. It's just not. I don't want to say it's not consumer friendly because clearly you can do it. But I wonder if they'll go the route of making it less cumbersome, or it's just something that you can kind of pull out, snap something in, and then put it back in.
One would hope.
Yeah. And I guess it would be, if it's going to be a more solid state type of hard drive, you wouldn't have to worry about having to screw it in and lock it down as much as you do a normal hard drive. So.
No, especially these ones that they're talking about. See, like, if you were to put one in a computer now, it's just sliding it into a port and just screwing it down on the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
I just want I'm ready for some new. I'm ready for some new stuff.
100%.
Don't get me wrong, getting new stuff now is still exciting and cheaper, but there's always that new system freshness that always feels good. Like Battlefield 4 when that first came out, I was like, this is great.
We'll say I was cleaning out my PS4 a couple months ago, and as I had it open, it was cleaning it out. It was probably right after the beginning of the new year. Like, it was that thought that this is it. Like, this is the last year that this is gonna be the main console. But this has been a great generation.
Yeah,
it's the first generation I fully
can't complain.
Was aware of beginning to end. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they've got though in store.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
That was weird. Sorry. Totally forgot what we were talking about.
Just the coming information.
Oh yeah, I think the last thing I was saying was I don't think there was something this generation that really ruined it for me. I don't think anything happened that was. There wasn't a PSN outage type of issue that happened this gen.
No, I think it was one of those that the generation started good and only got better.
Right.
That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, it was maybe safe is not the best word, but it was a good, safe generation.
It kind of maybe seemed like a golden age of gaming. Everything just worked. Everything hit.
Right, features were added, they weren't taken away. Well, they took away Facebook integration, but that's more of a benefit, I guess.
Yeah, in the long run. And we got great games. Great reimaginings of games.
100%. God of War. A bunch of new IPs as well. Horizon.
Yeah, oh wow. What a standout game.
I need to finish that DLC, by the way.
Same here. I was just looking at that tonight, that's out there. But that's also one of those games that I've been away from it for so long that jumping into the DLC is kind of brutal.
Yeah, I forgot why I stopped on it. I think some sort of mission kind of put me off, where I had to just collect a bunch of shit.
Yeah. I finished that game, and my first playthrough, and immediately jumped into New Game Plus. Because, like, I was that in love with the game. And blazed through it, got to the end, where you're heading to the last mission, and there's just a field full of stalkers. Like 4 of them. And I was playing on the ultra hard difficulty or whatever, and couldn't get through it, and just stopped, and I haven't been back.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Fuck! And I died again. Poop.
What a good game.
In my opinion. Yes, a sequel to that is definitely wanted.
Spider-Man 2.
We're going to see a bunch of sequels for the PS5, and it's going to be amazing. We'll see a God of War sequel. We're going to have a Horizon sequel. We might have another Uncharted. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one of those.
Did you hear about, what was I was reading an article about Neil Druckmann, because people were, bitching about him, or hate him. But he was talking about, they did a focus test for Uncharted 4, where they had a group playing it, and he had to kick somebody out from it, because the guy just started raving, just ranting and raving, and because he found out something he didn't like. It was like, the whole SJW thing about Uncharted 4. And, he started going off about how this is stupid, you guys are pushing your political views. And then he started going, they were focus testing the end of the game with, Nathan's daughter. He went ballistic and started going off, yeah, I see what you're doing, you're gonna make another game with her in it, and I'm done with you guys, I'm never gonna buy another one of your games, and who do you think you are, blah 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 blah. And they had to remove the guy from the focus test because he just went so ballistic.
Like, who cares if he has a daughter and they make a game about her? Like, that would be awesome. 2, Lost Legacy came out that had both characters female as the leads, and that game was fantastic. I think something around these Last of Us 2 leaks were in that same vein as well, where they were kicking people out for doing the same thing.
Because people are dumb.
Right. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I remember when they showed off Uncharted 4, it was like at one of the conferences, and it was the Nathan fight scene with Nadine, I think.
Oh yeah, fighting the library. Yeah.
Yeah, where she kicked his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And people went nuts because he got his ass kicked by her.
Hey, she's trained, so no shit, she's gonna kick someone's ass that isn't. Who cares if it's a female, as well? And who cares if it was a white woman voicing a black character? Who cares?
Right, because all of it is, who cares?
Yeah.
I think the way Neil put it was when he's like, you know, when they're character designing, somebody will be like, yeah, but what if they were a woman? And he's like, you know, you think of the character and it's like, does this damage the character by making it a woman or like a person of color? No? Then why not? Let's go for it.
Right. It's not a...
People just don't like that.
It's just, like, who cares? Like, even if they were doing it for that reason, is the story good? Like, is it better because of that? If it is, shut the fuck up. If it's not, then is it because of that character choice, or is it because of the story? Like, you gotta make that determination. Like, you can't just blame it on that all the time. Like, they're not, their goal isn't to be doing it just to do it. Like, these people are getting paid to put out a good story.
Right. Well, and especially with something like The Last of Us, a game where they arguably didn't have to go back and do a sequel. He's not going to do it unless he truly believes that it needs to be told.
Right. I don't know, people get their panties in a bunch for things that don't need it. Like, there's plenty of other things you should be angry about in the world than a character being gay or a character being female.
It'll be really interesting to look back once we played the game to see what people hated about the leaks and to see if it stood up.
Right, because the context needs to be there as well. Like, I was talking to Adrian and Brandon about this because both of them viewed the leaks and I have not. So they had more knowledge on it than me. So my argument was there were so many character moments in the first one that it wasn't even the cutscenes that were important. It was the contextual, just things that you were doing in the game that put a lot of the emotional weight on you, like how some of the characters reacted to some collectibles or in-game action, stuff like that. That goes a long way in the first game, so I wonder how much of these leaks would put that into perspective.
Right. Well, and it's Neil said that about the leaks. Essentially, he said, you know, you think you know, but you really don't know. So it's about the journey, and you just need to play it.
Right.
But people don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't affect the game and the sales or anything that that team deserves for what they've done. Just because people want to be dumb.
I keep getting my ass shot in this game and it's ticking me off. Yeah. I feel like that's the unfortunate reality of Naughty Dog right now. Just that. Those people are going to be there no matter what they do. No matter how well of a game that they make, it's going to be... They're pushing an agenda. Or they did...
Right.
They added this character just for the shock value. And not for... Like, you know what I mean. It's just... people being stupid.
Right.
Well, might be able to call it.
Yep.
Well, this has been Pandemic episode 81. We'll have to do another one. Hopefully, after some news comes out, it's... I guess I would call it slow.
Depends on what this summer Game Fest looks like. There's a game reveal next week. So at least there's something there.
I forget. The days just run together now. I don't even... What's today?
Alright.
May 9th? Tomorrow's Mother's Day?
Yeah, today's the 9th.
Gotcha. Yeah. Next time we have one of these, hopefully we'll have some news to share.
Yeah, that'll be the goal.
For show. Okay. Well, this has been episode 81. This is Vaughn.
Chris.
We will be back.